Facebook wants to hold your money in a new currency. What could possibly go wrong? Hey everyone, welcome back to Plain English. I'm Jeff. JR is the producer, and you are listening to episode 168 of Plain English, the best podcast for learning English with current events. The full transcript and episode resources can be found at plainenglish.com/168. Coming up on today's episode, Facebook announced the Libra, its new cryptocurrency that it plans to introduce in the year 2020. It promises to make money transfers seamless, especially across borders. But will consumers trust the social media giant with their money? We'll see. Before we get started today, I wanted to say thank you to one of the people behind the scenes here at Plain English. Many of you use the interactive transcripts online. And for those of you who don't know about them, each episode transcript has about 100 words and phrases translated into Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, French, Italian, and Japanese. We have translators around the world working on these each and every week, 200 phrases a week. And our Japanese translator, Meg, is moving on to bigger and better things. She has been with us since we introduced Japanese translations over a year ago, so I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to Meg and wish her all the best. Are you part of our email list? I want you on there. I want you getting the extra free resources that JR and I send out with every episode, every Monday and every Thursday, all for free. Listen to this: a summary of the episode, links to English articles about the main topic, the song or quote of the week, depending on the day, and a description of one more word or phrase that we used in the episode. plainenglish.com/mail. Enough said. If you've ever had to send money to a friend or transfer money abroad, you know that banking can sometimes seem stuck in the Stone Age. Checks still take days to clear. International transfers are expensive and slow. Even instant transfers between banks can sometimes get held up. What if you could pay anyone in the world with a tap on your app and just have the money arrive instantly without worrying about currency conversions, high fees, or delays? That's the future that Facebook wants to create with its new cryptocurrency, the Libra, which it announced 2 weeks ago. In this future, digital wallets will replace checkbooks, and making payments will be as simple as sending a message on WhatsApp, which, incidentally, Facebook owns. Cryptocurrencies have had a wild ride the past few years. Currencies like Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum promised a super secure, electronic, instant, and anonymous way to make payments online. Best of all, they would be immune from inflation and political machinations of central banks and governments. If you're worried about the collapse of the global financial system or if you're worried that central banks would either confiscate or simply inflate away your savings, then cryptocurrencies have provided a refuge. But they have never really gone mainstream insofar as regular consumers haven't used them for actual payments, transactions. Many currencies, like Bitcoin, have fluctuated wildly in value against traditional currencies. Bitcoin, if you remember, was worth a few $100s per coin for much of its existence. But demand from speculators drove the value up to over $18,000 per coin before it crashed to just $3,000 per coin. Now, for people like me who earn money and make their budgets in a traditional currency, Bitcoin has not been a viable way to make payments because its value has been so volatile. It doesn't help that most merchants don't accept Bitcoin as payment. Enter Facebook with its 2.4 billion users worldwide. These could be the people needed to seed the new currency and turbocharge its adoption. Facebook wants to be the firm that puts a cryptocurrency in the hands of normal people so that it can be used for day-to-day transactions and transfers. It has signed up some giants of both e-commerce and traditional commerce as supporters and investors. Uber, Lyft, Vodafone, Spotify, PayPal, even MasterCard and Visa, the lords of old-school credit card payments. Today, let's touch on what Facebook promises, and then we can see what the potential drawbacks might be. The main promise is that users would be free of the delays, fees, and currency fluctuations that make money transfer so cumbersome, so difficult today. Splitting the bill at a restaurant in the United States is not an easy process today. Forget paying a language teacher on the other side of the globe. Facebook wants to make money transfers between individuals and banks as simple as sending a WhatsApp message. Using Libra won't be free, but it will promise lower fees than banks offer now. Those of us in the developed world with pretty good financial services would stand to benefit, but it would be an even bigger advantage to the billions of people without access to a traditional bank account, including a lot of people in the developing world. The other promise is stability. If you live in Argentina, Venezuela, Mexico, Ecuador, Zimbabwe, or if you're old enough, Brazil, then you might remember periods of very high inflation in which the value of your savings erodes every day. Facebook's Libra will be backed by a basket of mature, stable currencies. If you hold all your savings in one currency, then you are putting all your trust in the government of that country to maintain the stability of its currency. But if you have your money in a basket of other currencies, then the risk of high inflation in just one country is much lower. Consumers are not taking to Bitcoin in part for its high volatility. You don't know what it's going to be worth from one day to the next. Libra won't have that problem. Libra will be an asset-backed currency, so each unit of Libra will correspond to an actual government bond in one of the participating currencies. So this will prevent the kind of wild ups and downs that Bitcoin has experienced. Facebook will offer access to Libra through a new subsidiary called Calibra, but the currency will allow other institutions, including traditional banks, to develop their own payment wallets for trading in Calibra. Traditional banks may even decide to offer Libra alongside their own products someday. Those are the promised benefits. There are some serious drawbacks. Facebook has not exactly been the world's most careful steward of private information in the last several years. Sure, they made all the required promises about not using or abusing private data, but these are promises that have been repeatedly made and repeatedly broken by tech companies in the past. The Libra will be governed by an independent nonprofit based in Switzerland. Facebook will be part of it, but the governing organization will be independent, they say. Still, one has to wonder how independent the nonprofit will be if Facebook is the giant that brings in all the users. A couple of other issues. One, there is no deposit insurance. In the US and many developed countries, the governments guarantee deposits. If a bank in the United States fails, for example, all deposits in that bank, up to $250,000 per person, are guaranteed by the government. There will be no such guarantee with Libra. And though Facebook promises that the most advanced cryptography techniques will be used, recent experience suggests that cryptocurrencies are not quite as secure as advertised. I will say this for the Libra and the promise of cryptocurrencies. The creaking old behemoths of global banking have not served consumers well with their high fees, long delays, outmoded technology, and abysmal service. Many of the world's governments have performed no better. Venezuela, with its 1,000,000% inflation rate, is only the most recent example. Innovative new companies like Paytm in India, PayPal in the United States, TransferWise in Europe, and Alipay in China have stepped up where the giant banks have failed. Facebook could be the one that finally brings an electronic currency into the global mainstream, or it could stumble and set back the cause of cryptocurrencies. Time will tell. I want to send a special hello to Brian in Brazil. He's a student and listens to English podcasts. He said in his WhatsApp message to me that our conversation was the first time he's interacted with a native English speaker. I personally don't believe him since his written and spoken messages were so good. But that's what he says, so I want to say hi to Brian. Secondly, have you ever heard about someone's job and thought, why didn't I think of that? Well, that's the reaction I had when I heard what Jacob is going to be doing. Just wait until you hear this. He's about to move from Poland to Milan, Italy, to study car design. There is no better place to do that than Italy. Why did I not realize that that was a possibility when I was in school? Instead, I became a business consultant. Oh well. If you have not joined our email list yet, you are going to want to do that. I've been dropping hints that we have a big announcement coming up. I'm still not authorized to say what it is, but I will be able to soon. However, if you want to be the first to know what we have in store, then you'll want to be on our email list. And look, it's not just for big announcements. There's lots of great value in there. And you can get on it by visiting plainenglish.com/mail. plainenglish.com/mail. Today's phrasal verb is hold up. Let me just get one definition out of the way up front. When you rob a bank, you hold up a bank. You point a gun, you make them give you all the money in a safe. That's a hold up. That's not what I want to tell you about. Instead, if something holds you up, that something delays you. You might hold someone or something else up. So think about a process. It's on schedule. Something goes wrong. There's a delay. That's what holds the process up, the thing that causes the delay. Here's how you heard it earlier. Transfers between banks can get held up. What could possibly hold up an electronic transfer between banks? Here's one, a government holiday. We have a government holiday like every 3 weeks in the United States, and banks are closed. So hopefully you don't want to process a payment on President's Day or Veterans Day, because if you do, it will get held up. It will get delayed. What's the hold up here? That's something you might ask if traffic comes to a standstill. The police might be holding up traffic due to an accident or something ahead. What can hold you up at work? What can delay you at work? The internet could be down. Your computer could crash. You might not get a delivery you need. Someone might call in sick. All these things might hold you up. These things might delay you in the things you need to do. I will confess that I used to hold up the process of producing these episodes. JR knows. I was notorious for not writing the episode headlines or summaries that JR needed to produce the website. I would always write the episode and record it, but I'd forget to do the headlines and the summaries and stuff. And when JR was ready to do the website, he would open the file and see it all blank. I was holding him up. So I changed the system to make it easier and more convenient for me. And guess what? I think I've only held up the process once. I've only delayed the process once since we switched to the new system. And that's an improvement for me. Sometimes you can say, I got held up, and that's an excuse for being late. What happened? You were supposed to be here half an hour ago. Oh, I got held up. Oh, okay. Well, now I understand. I got held up. Something delayed me. Today's Canada Day, July 1st. It commemorates the creation of modern Canada and the adoption of that country's constitution. So, in honor of that, I'll pick a quote about Canada for our quote of the week. It's from the economist John Maynard Keynes. Here it is. He said, "Canada is a place of infinite promise. We like the people, and if one ever had to emigrate, this would be the destination, not the USA. The hills, lakes, and forests make it a place of peace and repose of the mind, such as one never finds in the USA." All right. There are some places in the US in which you can find peace and repose of the mind. But I will admit that they are probably fewer than in Canada. By the way, all the best quotes about Canada have a little gentle ribbing about the United States in there. We can take it. Okay, time for my own Peace and Repose, which is a baseball game on the radio and some good food on my grill. So that's what I'm headed off to do now. Happy Canada Day once again. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all under the username Plain English Pod. Say hi, recommend us, leave us a review. Daniel wrote us a review saying we're one of his favorite websites. We've got our work cut out for us, right? I'm just joking. Thanks, Daniel. Plain English Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and JR and I will be back on Thursday. See you then. If you enjoy listening to Plain English, then I'd like you to consider joining Plain English Plus. With video lessons, faster audio, flashcards, and online courses, it's the best way to take your English to the next level. Visit plainenglish.com/plus to read all about it.